Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Escape Pod. Thank you so much for escaping with us. That's Andrew, and I'm Alex.
And as always, with great power comes great. Matt Murdock is the biggest
whore
in the MCU ability.
I love it.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Daredevil.
This is going to be a very Daredevil Born Again themed episode.
Born Again just ended, so
Yes.
we're gonna do that at the end. We're also I just finished rewatching something you glaze.
Not rewatching. It was your first watch.
It is going to be a re-review. Is it a re-review?
No, it's just a review,
It's just a review
of something old.
It's like if someone reviewed me
Correct.
because I'm old.
Yeah. Or if I reviewed Stranger Things because it's been around for
Correct.
4 presidential terms.
Correct. I'm so excited for that show. Anyways, I'm going to review Andor.
Yep.
You're going to review Sinners because you just watched that. I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Yes.
But before, if you haven't seen Sinners or you don't care about Sinners, you don't care about Andor, you don't care about Daredevil, you don't care about any of those things, we're going to do a segment for everyone because we're inclusive.
That's what this podcast is all about. Inclusion. That's a good point.
We are about y'all escaping with us.
That's true. So
Thank you
I'm having a good day. You having a good day so far?
I'm having a great day.
Good.
And we're
So-
here to help y'all have a great day.
Yeah, so
Everybody lock in and have a good day.
before we get into this, would you rather comment below a little high-low buffalo for yourself today?
Today.
Yep.
And we'll respond to all of them and make fun of you for your low.
Sure. You're in charge of that. You're
I can do that.
YouTube.
I can do that easy, dude.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Would you rather?
I'm just imagining our comments full of people like venting in their lows and me being like, "Oh, your mom died."
Oh, Andrew.
L skill issue.
Andrew, that's terrible. That's like so awful. These people aren't Connor. They're like,
Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
deceased loved ones is not something to laugh about. Would you rather receive a text every time your parents hook up? Or your parents get a text every time you hook up with someone?
Oh, the first one. So, are my parents hooking up together or hooking up with
Other people.
Oh, because if they're hooking up together, I'm never going to get a text.
Correct. I have that same problem. Or solution? Maybe that's not a problem.
So if they're hooking up with anyone, I still feel like I'm never going to get a text.
Brutal. Deborah's not getting any play?
No. Yeah, I'm still taking that. I don't want my mom to get a text. Everyone.
Yeah, I was.
Is it sex?
I think it's any capacity.
Any physical?
Yeah.
Then I'm screwed.
You know, I think this is interesting because you're a little bit different than me. Because, that's a kind of a closed off thing with you and your family. Mm-hmm. Like that's something that you've never talked about with your family. Mm-mm. Yeah. Like something I talk about with my mother regularly.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine going either way.
It would be no problem for me or my mother.
Yeah, my mom micromanages enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need her also being like, so who was it this time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh no.
Yeah, no.
But is there any world where like it happens a couple times in a week? And you're going to get a text where she's like, when am I going to meet this girl? And you're like, there's actually 3 different women. And a man.
Yeah. Pause.
You and Zach were baking.
Oh, yeah.
Things
We
got a
were
little
baking.
handsy.
They always get handsy when we're baking.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got a flower hand print on his butt every single time.
That's hot.
I've gotten ads.
You're going to say this on the podcast or no? Maybe this is a Patreon thing? You're laughing a little too hard.
I have
he's
ads
saying it.
for tights, like leggings for women. And there's a handprint on the butt, and it says, this ASS belongs to, and then you can put in your name. And the one that always serves me first says, this ASS belongs to Andrew.
That's weird. You're looking up some freaky stuff, buddy.
Yeah. I did not buy them. Don't worry.
Okay. I hope not.
I can buy them for you.
That would be funny. But me in leggings would not be a sight for anybody.
No. So which one are you picking?
I think I'll get a text every time my parents hook up.
Yeah.
Probably, like, just for the, like you said, the privacy, but it's so much less stress for me than it is for you.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
This is a nerdy one. Would you rather Finn have been the main character of the sequels instead of Rey? Or get the original Duel of the Fates script as the sequel to Last Jedi? Do I need to catch you up to speed?
Sequel to Last... Okay.
Kylo Ren doesn't become good. He goes to this Sith place and he kills this Sith thing. General Hux, we find out, is like depressed, and he collects a ton of Sith artifacts. He ends up killing himself on Darth Vader's lightsaber. Yeah, very cool. You see Coruscant, but it's really interesting because it's like they've taken up the entire sky with like First Order ships. So Coruscant looks so different than the Coruscant that we're used to. Finn leads a rebellion against the First Order by recruiting other stormtroopers in the First Order and being like, you do not have to be working for them. And essentially the way that the Resistance wins is because Hux and Kylo Ren cannibalize themselves rather than the Resistance getting 1 billion people from across the galaxy.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't care for either of them. I don't have a problem with Rey as much as other people, so I'll choose the second option.
Duel of the Fates, yeah. Yeah, I'm also...
Man, the sequels are a mess.
They are.
They're such a mess.
They are. It does... You know, one of the big criticisms we often hear is, God, they should have had a plan from the beginning. And I think that the 3 different directors idea, while cute, Rachel and I are rewatching Harry Potter right now, and we just finished Azkaban. And it's like, wow, it's crazy that we only got one good director to make these. You know, now...
Because you like Azkaban.
No disrespect to Chris Columbus or any of the other directors that worked on any of the Harry Potter movies, but Alfonso Cuarón is like a very critically acclaimed Oscar director. And like the little things that he does with Azkaban, like he shows the change of seasons through the Whomping Willow. Some of the shots and some of the way we get the Boggart scene with Lupin, with the music and everything. It's such a great scene.
I remember this Prisoner of Azkaban growing up being my least favorite. So maybe I need to rewatch them.
Oh, I think it's the best or second best movie. I think it's my third favorite book though. But yeah, it's like, oh, and now we're watching Goblet, and it is whiplash because it was like Azkaban is so artsy and like it really is super artsy, and every shot is like so interesting, and then you get kind of dull stuff in Goblet, and so it's like it's kind of like Harry Potter is reminding me that like, yeah, they really shouldn't have done that. Yeah,
Interesting.
Would you rather sleep with socks on for the rest of your life?
Other option.
Or wear flip-flops as your only option for shoes for the rest of your life? Ladies and gentlemen!
Those aren't flip-flops.
These are slides. Are those not flip-flops? I gotta wear the ones that have the thong in between my...
That's a flip-flop.
Okay, then I'm wearing socks for the rest of my life.
I'm wearing socks. I would literally...
I hate flip-flops, but if it includes slides and I think it's just generally like toes are out. If my toes are out, I'm cool. I'm happy. Every day. I'd go to a premiere with these on.
I wouldn't allow that, I don't think. Yeah, I'm doing anything that's not flip-flop. There's a lot of things I would rather do than wear flip-flops. You'd be surprised by the amount of things I would do.
Candy corn or flip-flops?
Candy corn.
Whoa!
Like, I'd do some heinous stuff instead of...
Okay, let me ask you this. You believe that candy corn eaters are like among the worst people alive, and you said that all people that are fans of candy corn should be thrown into the sun.
Correct.
Do you have the same level of disdain for people that only wear flip-flops?
No.
Or because that's your choice and you're not spreading the propaganda?
Yeah, candy corn, like, those seem to affect me more.
Okay.
You know, because you're enabling something that people like are trying to feed me every October.
Yeah.
No one has ever been like, why aren't you wearing flip-flops? People have been like, why aren't you eating candy corn?
Okay.
Flip-flops
So they press their agenda onto you.
Correct. It's all about agendas here.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever worn flip-flops for like a second and been like, this is okay with me. Ever. I have as soon as they're on my feet, I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. I am constantly just trying to think about how to keep them on my feet.
They're awful.
They're awful.
I don't like the thong in between the feet, in between the toes. But I obviously love slides. You don't like slides?
I don't think I've ever really tried slides. I don't think I would like them.
But slides are better than flip-flops.
Well, sure.
Way better.
Racism is better than flip-flops.
Oh, you got me.
Okay, that's a joke. It's a joke.
It's such a joke.
We're going to get clipped. Now I'm thinking through it, though.
Would you rather racism or flip-flops? Would you rather be racist or wear flip-flops?
I can't. I plead the fifth.
All right. Good answer, Andrew. Really good start to this podcast.
But like, nah. No, let's move on.
All right.
I was gonna break that down.
Okay. If you want to, you can.
No.
All right.
No.
Ooh. Okay, this is an easy one. Would you rather suck a penis for $1 billion or have another man suck your penis, for $1 million?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
million
getting my
dollars.
penis sucked by a man for $1 million.
100%.
Easy.
I can close my eyes and you are Sydney Sweeney.
Cook.
Yeah.
Nice.
Use imagination.
You're my Sydney Sweeney.
And then I'm getting $1 million. I'm good. You
Yeah,
know?
no, for
$1
real.
billion is like
$1 billion is wildly more. Maybe, you know what? $1 billion is wildly more than $1 million.
100%. But like,
You're never going to suck a penis. We know this.
yeah, we know this. But like, I'm like the things I want to do in life. I don't need $1 billion.
Yeah.
For, you know, like
I'm considering this. I'm considering this. Because no matter what, I'm doing something gay. I might as well just be gay. You know what I'm saying?
But there are levels of gay.
Yeah, there's nothing gayer than sucking a penis. Right? I think getting effed in the butt is less gay than sucking a penis.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
By the way, we're staunchly pro-gay on this podcast. This isn't like homophobic. This is...
No, you're just not gay. So you have to decide which level of gay you're fine with.
Correct. But for $1 billion, I think I'm fine with all levels of gay. $1 billion is wildly more than $1 million.
I understand that.
I think I'm sucking the penis for $1 billion. I know you're never doing that. I don't not
Of the
respect
three,
you for
rank
it.
the three you're most okay with doing. What's the least one you're okay with doing? Of effing in the butt,
Yeah.
sucking, being sucked. Being sucked is number one.
Yeah, being sucked is the most okay.
And then what's next?
Being effed in the butt.
Wow.
Well, where's effing in the butt? Because effing in the butt is second. And then getting effed in the butt and then sucking a penis.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want.
I think it's penis sucked, then me effing in the butt, and then being
Effing someone
effed
else in the
the
butt,
butt,
right.
and then sucking a penis. But I think I'd do any of those for $1 billion.
Being a 49ers fan is gayer, right?
Unless you watch the show. I'm very... I actually have a really good relationship with 49ers fans of this podcast. I don't know why.
Also, you can't be using gay as an insult.
Yeah,
Can't
no,
be doing that.
I honestly, I've almost come full circle on the San Francisco 49ers.
Really?
Just because, honestly, like, I've had such bad experiences, like, in social media and in person with 49ers fans, but I have had worse experiences with other fan bases. And, like, I don't know, 49ers fans have been extremely respectful fans of the podcast.
It's because our community, number one, is the best community in the world.
Absolutely.
And number two, your character development.
Maybe.
It's something to be studied.
Maybe, yeah. But like Eagles fans have been very respectful to me, even though they have the reputation of being the worst fans in the NFL. But like Bills fans, okay, anytime I say anything positive about the Rams, we get like 15 people with Josh Allen profile pictures on our comments on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. That's like, hat guy doesn't know ball. He's an effing idiot. Josh Allen to the moon. And I'm just like, you're just being mean to me.
Yeah.
And then the 49ers fans are like, y'all really whooped us last year. Hope we can get at you. But if not, still love your podcast. They're always so nice to me. So
Comments are...
I'm coming full circle on
very hot
49ers
and cold.
fans. Yeah.
Speaking of comments, everyone comment L Rams, please, again. Just L Rams. Thank you.
All right. This is, don't you think it's getting a little old? It's your third time in like 4 months.
Absolutely not. It's a good running bit.
Okay, this is maybe the best would you rather in the history of the podcast.
It can't possibly be better than sucking penis.
You're right. All right, it's second best. Would you rather make a cameo in Beyond the Spider-Verse as the Escape Pod podcast, or Kevin Feige and James Gunn come on for a joint episode of the podcast?
That one. The second one.
Them coming on. I think I'm with the first one.
Here's the thing. The first one would be super cool because it's like going to be our favorite movie ever. But there are going to, like, the response of the general audience is going to be like, who the frick are these guys? And they're just going to clown the F out of us.
I actually disagree.
How do you, like, it's not possible to disagree with that.
No, I disagree. I think that it could be tasteful enough that it's like in the background or something, but like the people that know love it. In the same way of like...
So what? Describe the cameo. Like, are we helping pull people from rubble? Or
No,
like,
no. Like it's something on in the background. Like somebody's watching it in the background, and it's just clearly animated. It's clearly you and me, and it's clearly the set.
That's
and,
cool.
And it's like in the background.
Maybe our logos.
In the same way that they like have a cute little nod to Donald Glover Spider-Man, which is the reason that the Miles Morales character
He's
exists.
fully in there and speaks.
He's fully in Across, but in Into, he's like, they show a little scene from him in Community, and it's just in the background, and it happens very briefly.
I think Miles should spray paint our logo somewhere.
That would be a bit much. But this is probably going to be both mine and your favorite trilogy of all time. And to be immortalized in the finale of what could be the greatest trilogy of all time, yeah, I think that would be more special to me than realistically the ultimate podcast episode. Because having the both of them on...
For once, you're not thinking about business.
You're right, because it would be better for business. The James Gunn, Kevin Feige thing would make us more money.
That has never happened ever, anywhere.
No, and I don't think it'll ever happen.
We would kill that.
It would
be the most entertaining.
We would nail that.
It would be.
We are the people for that job.
100%. 100%. We would make that so much fun. We would make that more fun than anyone on the planet.
You're right. But I don't think it'll ever happen until they do the DC MCU crossover. Mm-hmm. And then that'll be the press tour. It'll just be the two of them. That would be electric.
And we're going to have 1 billion subscribers by then, so.
That's like 1/8 of the world.
Yeah.
1/8 of the world doesn't like superhero movies, Andrew.
But they can like us.
1/8 of the world doesn't speak English. We're going to do the Mr. Beast thing and translate
we're going to translate it. Absolutely.
Can you imagine how much of a pain in the butt that would be?
No.
Because of how many episodes we have?
Yeah, a pain in the butt for somebody else. Or AI.
No, Andrew. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Could see the color drain from your face. Ah, good stuff, dude.
I don't like it. Would you rather?
I'm gonna secretly start implementing AI into your life.
You already did, and I was upset at you about it.
Okay?
What?
No.
What?
No,
say
no,
it.
no,
Say
no,
it. Say it right now.
No.
Say it.
No.
Please.
No.
I implore you.
I am picking Kevin Feige and James Gunn. Next.
All right. This is interesting because of what we just talked about. My answer may surprise you. Would you rather, this is more for me, would you rather the 49ers win the Super Bowl or watch Man of Steel for 1 week straight? I'm picking watch Man of Steel for 1 week straight. I know I was just nice to 49ers fans, still can't do it. And then here's your version of this.
Okay.
Which is kind of similar to one we did earlier as well. Would you rather watch Batman v Superman for 1 week straight? Mm-hmm. Or publicly admit that Spider-Man Homecoming is the best representation of Spider-Man ever?
Yeah, I'm watching Batman v Superman.
For a week straight.
Yeah. Easily. Pretty easily. Because I could just spend that week figuring out new ways to roast that movie.
Homecoming. Or Batman
v Superman.
Okay, so you're watching film.
Yeah, I'd be doing research. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm taking notes on how to clown this movie even more. Mm-hmm. So I'd get something out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm getting nothing out of lying to everyone on the internet.
Mm. Okay. I had a point about Batman v Superman the other day, and I was like, I defend that movie a lot more than you do. I actually like the ultimate version of that movie, but I think it came up on my TikTok or something, and it was like somebody's point about Batman v Superman. I was like, oh, that's awful. Oh, here it is. Batman kills in that universe. We see him kill many, many people in Batman v Superman. His Joker is still alive. How does that make any sense? That's awful.
Uh-huh.
That is so bad.
Uh-huh.
That makes no sense.
Uh-huh.
That's actually terrible. That Joker killed Robin.
Yeah.
How is he still alive?
Which we don't see.
No, that's crazy.
It's just another shot that's not explained. Just 50% of that movie. But
apparently it's Dick. Isn't that stupid? They killed Dick.
Yeah, instead of Jason.
Yeah.
Who cares? Awful. Everything's awful.
This is another one for you. This is brutal.
Okay.
Would you rather Zutara happen in the live action Atla or never get beyond the Spider-Verse? Obviously, I'm choosing Zutara, especially because I believe that will happen.
I'm choosing Zutara.
Yeah, right?
One, because it's not the original,
Yep.
right? And this, again, I'm getting something out of it because I will be clowning it on the podcast. Like,
Weekly.
Yeah, you will, like, for a year, I don't think there will be a podcast where I don't at least somehow mention how awful that is. And
There's a bit.
I might just email my Netflix contacts and be like, don't ever talk to me again.
Well, don't do that. That would be bad for business. There's a bit on the podcast off the podcast. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. There's a bit off the podcast that we will never say on the podcast, but like we're constantly just having a conversation and you just turn to me and you're like, dude, so-and-so did this thing.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
That's what Zutara would be. We would be in the middle of a Spider-Man debate. And you would just be
we
like...
would be screaming about...
You'd just be like, I just can't believe they did Zutara. Out of nowhere.
We'd be reviewing Doomsday. And
Yeah.
be like, oh, so Robert Downey Jr.'s performance. And I'd be like, yeah, but Zutara.
Yeah. You're right. It would be.
No, yeah, I need Beyond. And I also feel like it would be a good cathartic moment with... There would be a lot of Zutara shippers that would be like, yeah, but like the Avatar community would come out in full force.
I've got news for you. This may be the nicest thing that I've ever said to you ever. You're going to love this. You ready? Mm-hmm. If they do Zutara in the live action Atla, which I believe they're going to do with all my heart, like legitimately, I think it's nearly 100% that they're going to do that.
Gross.
Based on the stuff that they did in season 1. I don't want them to do that,
Gross.
but I believe they're going to do that, right?
Yeah. That would be such an insane decision.
I agree.
I
agree, but I do think they're going to do it, okay? If they do Zutara in the live action Atla, I believe it will be bad. Very bad, and I believe it will actually kill Zutara shippers for all of time. In the same way that a lot of people wanted Rey to be a Palpatine going into Last Jedi, and after Last Jedi, one of the biggest complaints about Last Jedi was, how is Rey a nobody? She's so powerful, it doesn't make any sense. That's a choice that I like. I believe it's a choice that you like, if I'm not mistaken.
What, her being a nobody?
Yeah, or you don't like that.
I mean, it's better than... Yeah. It's fine.
But I remember a lot of people really wanted her to be a Palpatine, and they made her a Palpatine, and everybody was like, oh, I kind of feel like all the people that are pro Zutara are like, yes, do Zutara, and then they're going to see Zutara, and they're going to go, oh, actually, that's really bad.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If they're... Ooh, I was gonna say something I can't say.
Okay.
If they're...
Don't say that, then.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. If they're obnoxious enough, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And...
I know where you're going with this.
Mentally stunted enough to believe that I will be harsh to Zutara. Emotionally stunted. How about that? You're emotionally stunted if you're a Zutara shipper.
Are they physically stunted? Are they short?
They might be. You know, they're probably every negative adjective I can think of. No, I'm kidding. Calm down. No, but if you're stupid enough...
Dang, this is crazy.
To think Zutara is okay, I don't think anything they do in live action is going to like magically like heal your brain to understanding why it's bad.
All right. Let's do an FMK.
There are a few things that I will be more mean about than Zutara. I can't really think of anything on the podcast.
We're going to do an FMK based on things you hate from this Would You Rather. FMK. F, marry, kill. Flip-flop wearers. Okay?
Okay.
Candy corn agenda pushers.
Okay.
Or Zutara shippers.
Okay, I'm killing Zutara shippers.
Wow.
Yeah, get them out of
over candy corn.
Yeah.
So all candy corn agenda pushers should be thrown into the sun. What should we do with Zutara shippers?
I think
It should be firing squad style shot.
Stop it.
Okay.
No, that's bad.
Last episode of Daredevil Born Again, Kingpin?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
100%.
Harsh.
Yeah. No, they Fire Lord Ozai. They should Agni Kai, Fire Lord, and they should all have been given scars.
But they're gonna like those scars because they're Zutara.
Fine,
shippers.
then treat them like the air nomads.
Whoa.
Yeah. No. But then you said flip-flop wear. So
This is the second episode in a row that you're pro-genocide. I'm just letting you know. You were pro-genocide on episode 100 of the Patreon, and now you're pro-genocide
here. That was the Patreon. We're always pro-genocide on the Patreon. I'm not clinking that. That is a joke. Yeah, we're 25 minutes in. This is bad. And we're doing a Patreon episode after this. It's going to be rough.
We're going to be really
so
pro-genocide.
So it's flip-flop wears. I'm not having to wear the flip-flops?
No.
Okay, I'll marry them.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
And you'll F candy corn agenda pushers.
You're giving me 3 terrible options.
I know.
I'm not
telling you.
touching. If you, fully not a joke. This is fully not a joke. When I have been talking to a females in the past, and I know that they like Avatar, legitimately a deal breaker, I have asked them, like, are you a Zutara shipper? And they have said no. And I was like, okay, we can keep talking. It's also,
ladies.
not interested, brother. Not interested.
There's a pointer for you.
Not interested.
Do not like Zutara if you want the gentleman sitting across from me. He's an eligible bachelor. He's wildly handsome. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. I want to tell. I'm going to write this down because there's no way that I can't get your reaction to this.
Why don't you just tell me right now?
I can't tell you on the podcast. Like, actually, I want to tell you about this so bad. I can't believe it wasn't the first thing I said to you when I walked in here. I want to tell you about this so bad that, like, I want to stop the cameras right now. But
can I not just bleep it? Or
you can bleep it. You have to bleep this.
Can we put it on the Patreon?
No, absolutely not. Like,
okay.
It's like, it's one of the craziest things that's ever happened ever. Okay?
All right.
I couldn't believe it.
Wow, what a crazy thing to say.
What a crazy thing to say. What a crazy thing to do. And yet, not surprising at all.
Not surprising at all. Correct. Nice. We're 26 minutes in. You want to do Sinners?
Yeah, I'll do Sinners real quick. Oh, I have my notes on here. I don't know why I put this away.
I've heard good things.
You ready? So I guess I'll give my score. This is my thoughts and review of Sinners, the new Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Ryan Coogler directed film. This is the closest I've been to a 10 out of 10 on a movie that I don't know if I'm going to give the 10 out of 10 to. You know me, it would only be the third 10 out of 10 since the podcast has started, but it really is that special of a movie. It's at the lowest a 9.5 for me. It is by far the best passion project I've ever seen. As you know, this is Ryan Coogler's like baby. This is a movie he's really, really wanted to make. He put his heart and soul into this movie, and oh boy, does it show. I think it's easily the best performance of Haley Steinfeld's career. I also think it's comfortably the best performance of Michael B. Jordan's career. Now, it helps that he does play two different characters with two different personalities in this movie, so that ups him, a la James McAvoy's best performance in Split. Now, like I said, best passion project ever, mid-90s. The Jonah Hill passion project is up there, but otherwise I can't really think of anything else that comes to this quality. I think it's maybe my favorite or the best Western I've ever seen. Second place being Django Unchained. Maybe Hateful Eight is up there, but this is a really, really special movie. I want to make this clear, I haven't seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, but to me, the two best vampire movies I've ever seen have come out within 4 months, 5 months of each other, with Nosferatu and now Sinners. I do think it's funny that, Ryan Coogler, if you look at his filmography, Michael B. Jordan's in every single movie. He loves Michael B. Jordan so much, he put him in this movie twice.
Nice. Two questions.
Yeah.
Is it better than Neza 2?
That's where I'm at. I currently have it second to Neza 2. I'm so in between them. I totally understand somebody preferring this, like Rachel. This is easily Rachel's favorite movie of the year. Or I totally understand somebody preferring Neja 2. As of right now, I'd like to rewatch them both before I say that. But there's no doubt in my mind that Sinners is a better movie. Right. In the same way that I think that Alien Romulus is a better movie than Wicked, but I liked Wicked more.
Sure.
That's how I feel about Neja 2 right now.
Okay, that's fair. Second question, from the trailers, and Haley Steinfeld's in it, Michael B. Jordan's in it, pretty sexy. How hot and bothered am I going to be watching this at all? People find Dracula vampires hot all the time.
I don't know if it's a hot and bothered Haley Steinfeld performance.
Oh, I was talking about Michael B. Jordan too.
It's definitely...
It's hard not to have a movie be hot and bothering if Michael B. Jordan.
It's a very hot and bothered Michael B. Jordan movie.
Okay.
There are multiple sex scenes with Michael B. Jordan because there's two of them. And, oh my gosh, dude.
You're taking.
I might have to say this is the best movie of the year and give it a 10 out of 10. Like, every time I think about it, I'm in shock about how phenomenal this movie is.
Great.
And we did, I have to say, a very, very special thank you to IMAX, who hosted me, invited me. I got to see it at IMAX headquarters on beautiful 70 millimeter. Andrew, find a good theater to see this movie at. It's shot entirely on film. The 70 millimeter shots are breathtaking. It just covers the whole screen. Yeah. Like Oppenheimer, seeing it in that theater was a special experience. Same thing for Ryan Coogler Sinners. Go see this movie on the biggest screen possible. I do think this movie's going to make a lot of money, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, people are excited for it.
I don't know if you saw, but the Ryan Coogler video from Kodak of him explaining the different ways he shot this movie and the different experiences you'll get different theater has like 30 million views. It's going super viral, and I really hope this movie does very, very well at the box office, because it's a special movie. We just had a conversation. What is the best movie of the decade? There's no question in my mind that Sinners is in this top 10 conversation. It's that good of a movie.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm watching it tomorrow.
Enjoy.
I want to review Andor.
Please.
When did it come out?
2022.
So 3 years later, I have finally watched Andor.
Yes.
I will say right now, I reacted to everything. I filmed my reactions to all of it. I will put all of it on the Patreon.
Correct.
So if you want to see that, go watch that. The Eye, One Way Out, everything will be on the Patreon, me reacting to it. My Andor score out of 10, 3, 2, 1, 9.5 or 10. Like I'm the guy that likes more actiony things, you know what I mean? I like TASM 2 over Homecoming. I don't like Homecoming because he's not Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. This is a Star Wars show without any Force users, really.
Or lightsabers,
Jedi, Sith, anything like that. And the people who have not liked it as much as you have said that it's slow, blah, blah, blah. And you mentioned like the first 3 episodes being the not as great episodes, and then it keeps getting better. After the first 3 episodes, I was like, this is freaking awesome.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, I'm freaking locked for the rest of this. There's not really much bad to say about it. I think the only reason, like, I'm trying to compare it to other Star Wars shows, it's clearly better than all of them except maybe Mandalorian, and the only reason I would put Mandalorian above it is kind of
awesome.
Because it's fun.
Higher highs.
It's higher highs. He's got the blasters. He's got Yoda, baby Yoda, Darksaber. So it's hard for me to not put a Star Wars project like Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, things that are more Star Warsy, like lightsabers, a little bit above it. But in terms of quality, like, I can't think of a negative, really. Every single character is great, and the tension and the way they do some sort, like, there's still blasters in it, like they're shooting. The first fight scene, really, when Cassian meets Stellan Skarsgård's character and they're in that thing and the things are falling from the ceiling, I literally paused it in my reaction. I was like, there was no need for that scene to be that interesting with those chains and the falling down and the tension, and
it adds a clock to the scene, which makes the scene
I was like, there was no need for it to be that interesting, but they put time and effort. Andor just feels like they looked at a project and they were like, we're going to care now. You know what I mean? I was like, they cared about this show. I'm so glad they did. Mon Mothma is great. Kino Loy is great. Obviously, One Way Out is great. The Eye is breathtaking. Every single part of it looks amazing. There's not a shot that I wasn't, the CGI looked wonky or anything. And you just care about all the characters. And the number one positive for Andor is just obviously the writing and the script, the dialogue. Like, some of these speeches, some of these back and forths, some of these lines are just, I had to pause and run it back. I was like, why are they cooking? So, like, obviously Stellan's monologue, like, every line is just, every other line is just like, oh my, what did he just say? And then Cassian's line, I'd rather die fighting against them than die giving them what they want. Cook. Also, one of the best droids ever. B is my goat. I freaking love B. I love B.
Marva.
Dude, every single time he was on screen, I was locked. I want more of him. He's cute. When he's sad, I was sad. His little stutter is adorable. I love him.
Something that we've talked about kind of often on this podcast, which is kind of weird because we are supposed to be an escape for people, is how fiction deals with loss and, like, what's a good representation of loss. And one of my favorite things that you said in our Alien Romulus review is his reaction to Isabella Merced, his sister, being taken by the xenomorph. And you're just like, come on, we have to go get her. We have to go get her. And you were like, that's such a visceral, real reaction that somebody would have. B's reaction to Marva's death, where he's like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Marva's here. Or whatever it was the
he's
reaction.
literally like, the other guy is like trying to get B to come stay with him.
Yep.
And B's like, I need to stay here.
Yep.
She might come back. It's just like, oh my gosh.
And for that to be a droid,
That's
it's
adorable.
so fabulous.
Yeah. And you'll see this in my reaction when I post it, but like, there's a lot of emotional beats in the show, and like maybe I literally say this in my reaction. I had to pause it because I had chills and I was just like tearing up. I was like, I don't know if I'm just having a bad day or I'm like super emotional right now, but his mother's speech, I don't know. I paused it and gave like a speech of like how good that speech was, because you just feel it, like, because the story is told so freaking well for the whole show, and you care about her, you care about Cassian, you care about this random little planet that the Empire is taking control. Ferrix. You care about his little girlfriend girl that's being freaking tortured, and this random kid that his dad died, and he's making this like pipe bomb thing, and it's just like, those are side characters, but you're like, yeah, freaking the Empire freaking sucks. And then B is the one projecting her up there, and she's like, I'm dead, I'm old, but like, I'm not giving the speech to try and win, popularity or notoriety. I'm doing this to inspire y'all to keep going, because I wish I had woken up earlier, and like, y'all need to wake up right now. It's just like, what's going on? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's really good. Really good. I'm excited for season 2.
Before I'm loving this. This is one of the greatest moments in the history of the pod for me.
Glass of water.
Yeah, I love you, buddy. I just want to ask some questions.
Yeah, hit me.
I need you to give me 5 characters that stand out above the rest as some of your favorites. If you can rank them, I'd like to know.
Ooh, okay. The little I like the little squad that does the heist on the eye. Yes. I don't think they're going to be my favorites. But I do like them. The guy with his manifesto that eventually dies.
Nemec. So good.
Yeah, he's good. Off the top of the dome, B's going to be up there.
Yeah,
I love B.
Good take.
His mom is going to be up there. Marva is going to be up there. Kino Loy is going to be up there.
Absolutely.
Stellan.
Luthen's
going to be up there, and then Mon Mothma's going to be up there.
Nice.
Yeah, those 5.
Nice. How good is Mon Mothma's story? Now do you get it? Why I've been gassing her up for years?
She's great. I feel so sorry for her all the time.
Yeah.
Like, her life sucks.
But it's the Debbie factor from Invincible, where like everything around her is going so badly.
But she's great.
And she's just standing through it all, being the best person ever.
Her job sucks.
Yep.
The fact that she's in the rebellion and can't tell anyone sucks.
Yep.
Her money is about to be taken by the Empire sucks.
Yep.
Her daughter kind of sucks. Her husband majorly sucks. Everything sucks.
Her driver sucks.
Her driver is a spy.
And then her friends in the Rebel Alliance, Luthen is screwing her constantly.
Yep. And it's just like, every second of her life is like 10 out of 10 stressful all the time. Everything is stressful. Her driver is spying on her. Her husband is terrible. Her daughter hates her. She's trying to solve the money crisis. So it's just like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
I love her friend. I love that speech where she goes, I'm a nuisance to them, so that they're paying attention to that, but not what I'm actually doing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You know what? Bruce Wayne coded.
Yeah.
I love it. I love her so much. And the thing where she like blames him for the gambling. She's like, go to Canto Bite with your friends, because she knows he's listening. It's so, and then you see him telling the Black Imperial guy. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, and that kind of confirms right at the end that they are 100% watching her, and this is the guy that's keeping tabs on her.
Did you have a favorite planet from Andor? Because this is something I don't give props to Disney Star Wars a lot. Disney Star Wars, I don't think, gives their planets a lived-in feel. Like, mind you, the original trilogy, sure, but the prequel trilogy, that's one of their best strengths, is every single planet feels so lived in. The Naboo residents and then the Gungans are so distinctly Naboo. And then, like, Coruscant is so distinctly Coruscant.
Camino.
every Star Wars planet from the prequels is so distinctly Star Wars. I feel that about a lot of the planets in Andor. You've got Aldhani, which has the eye, that has the settlers, and the Empire has pretty much just tried to make it so that they don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
which
terrible.
is so terrible, but like amazing writing. Obviously, we could talk about how developed Ferrix
is great.
all day with the chimes.
I love that guy.
And that the daughters of Ferrix are such a big part of the community. She was a big part of the community, so she gets a big funeral. She gets turned into a brick.
Yeah.
Like, that's so distinct.
So cool.
The culture. Even Kenari, the planet that Cassian is from, is so distinct. They have the settlers, and then it's like an alien story where they crash land, and it's, this underdeveloped world, and they don't know what's going on, and this and that. Every single planet is so distinctly Star Wars.
Yeah, one of the other positives I had is like, there's no volume in this. Like everything looks good, and I don't have as much of a problem with the volume as you, but like when I compare it to this, like what's the prison? Whatever that
Morlana
prison.
1.
Yeah.
Nope. Narkina 5. Sorry.
That
Narkina
one.
5.
Every second in there, they're in the prison. That set, it's just a full set.
Yep.
Like there's no way that it just wasn't completely built. Like when they're in there building the things, the hallways, the prison, where they sleep, it's just like, oh, you cared. Like, this just looks like it should look. You're not cutting corners. So I love the set.
Sterilized and clean and claustrophobic because they built it.
Yeah.
You think Kino Loy is alive?
I do think Kino Aloy is alive. I don't know if they're going to do anything with him. I hope they do. But I think they made it, like, to your point, it's a very interesting end for him, if it is, because he does all this to escape and then he can't swim. And then it's a big question mark. It's left open, that he either dies or goes back or maybe somehow makes it, but like they don't answer it on purpose to leave it as a question mark. And that's cool. That's a cool ending. But I think you could also make the argument that they left it as a question mark. They clearly did not kill him off. So maybe he can come back. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
I love it. I love it. No matter what. I would love to see him back. Andy Serkis is my favorite actor. This is one of my favorite roles of his. I would love to see him back, but I do think it's the perfect end to his story that, like, he broke everybody out knowing he was going to die. I think that's so good.
Yeah. So, I mean, New Hope, Empire, and then Andor, Mandalorian, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, Revenge of the Sith, that's probably in my top 5. But, yeah.
Last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is in that S tier if it's considered its own thing. I'm proud of you.
It was very fun. It was very good.
I knew you would like it. Now, moving on to your other favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
We have to start with our reviews of the final episode.
The finale.
Which this will be going on Patreon.
Daredevil Born
earlier.
Again spoilers. We're just like, I'm just saying it. Like, if you don't, we're talking about the finale. We're talking about the show. We're talking about all Daredevil ever. So lock in.
Yeah, watch all of Daredevil Born Again, catch up, and then come watch this.
Yeah.
But we're going to start with the finale, and this was made available the day after the finale premiered on Tuesday night. This was available to our patrons on Wednesday.
Yep. So everything from here to the end of the episode, they probably have gotten.
Correct.
Yeah.
Not till the end of the episode. The actual review of the show, probably not.
I say give it to them.
Okay, then the Patreon got everything. Everything. All right. Here are our scores for the finale episode of Daredevil Born Again. Just the episode, that's what we're talking about right now. None of this, not full season.
Full season,
we'll give
yeah.
those thoughts after, okay?
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
8.5?
I'm at a 7.
Sure.
But,
I want to see if your complaint is the one that most people have and the one that I also have that just doesn't bother me quite as much.
Please.
But, no, go.
I would love to give you the floor. I kind of have questions for you.
No, go. I want to hear what you say. I want to listen.
I just, the show hasn't really gotten me. We've known this the whole show, that there have been moments where I've been really high on the show. Obviously moments where I've been really low on the show. Muse's introduction, for example, Kingpin doing the therapy, whatever. And it's just, I'm not giving this a 7 out of 10 because I think it was a bad episode. 7 out of 10 is 2 points higher than mid. But it just didn't do. There are highs in this episode that we'll get to, and there are lows in this episode that we'll get to. That it's just like it didn't do anything breathtakingly good or breathtakingly bad for me. It's just kind of a run-of-the-mill episode for me, personally. I do have some complaints, and I do have some positives. Positive, there's a Kingpin scene in here that is really, really strong. Another positive, Daniel continues to be my new favorite character, my favorite new character. He is so strong in that meeting with the council members. I think Buck gets a lot of time to shine in this episode. I think the stuff that they are leading towards the future is very interesting. But I have a problem that I think most of the internet has, which is a problem that I never had with the original show, which is I think Daredevil Born Again has gotten too big and too connected to the MCU for it to not acknowledge other things.
Sure.
And for other things to not acknowledge it. We have a statewide or Manhattan-wide blackout of New York City. And there's not even an acknowledgement of Spider-Man saving the day for anybody, Doctor Strange saving the day for anybody, and this show does tee up what we hope will be a phenomenal second season, right? There's been a lot of complaints about the overhaul, pre-overhaul, post-overhaul. This episode tried to set everything back to a status quo for the second season, which I'm excited for. But as we see in the trailers, Sentry has taken over New York City in Thunderbolts. How is that? Is Mayor Fisk not going to show up in that? Are they not going to acknowledge the events of Thunderbolts in Daredevil Born Again? You know what I'm saying? I think that in the previous seasons of Daredevil, the problems have been the Hand, which was solved by the Defenders, or Kingpin's buying real estate and he's a bad guy and should go to jail, or Kingpin's taken over the FBI. Two small problems to deal with them with even Doctor Strange or Spider-Man. But a statewide blackout and now an 8 p.m. curfew and all vigilantes are the enemies of the state, that would absolutely include Spider-Man. Maybe wouldn't include Doctor Strange, but it should. I've got some problems there. That's a problem I have.
Yeah, I mean, the whole him gathering an army thing at the end and it being specifically about vigilantes and in New York and him mentioning Spider-Man earlier in the season. Like, hopefully, it seems like they should. It doesn't bother me too much, but because of those reasons, like it being specifically about like masked vigilantes, and he mentioned Spider-Man, and it's in New York, and like you said, it's a bigger problem. Like it is a blackout. Yeah, I'm sure Spider-Man is out there doing something. They're just not showing it to us, and that doesn't bother me too terribly much. Like, are you wanting a cameo? Like, what are you wanting?
I don't know what I want. I just need something. I think that the problem has gotten too big to not acknowledge that Doctor Strange would be doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like Doctor Strange would be doing something. Spider-Man would be doing something. Sure, I know legally it's a problem. Like, you can't have him in the show, so maybe you mention him or something. But yeah, do something. I do need you to do something because it's kind of the point. This was a criticism that some people had about the Penguin, where the Penguin
the Batman
got too large scale, where Batman should have intervened. That's kind of how I feel about this, where it's like, what, is Spider-Man sleeping on the job? What are we doing here? Yeah. But that is a legal problem. Like, he can't show up legally.
Right.
But then have Doctor Strange show up. Have somebody show up. The biggest cameos of the show cannot be Swordsman and Kamala Khan's dad.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel. Like, have somebody, like, somebody's got to be doing something.
Yeah, they might have some of that in season 2. I don't know. I understand the connection there and wanting to see some of it, but I just don't think, just because they're not showing it doesn't mean it's not, like, happening. You know what I mean? Like, New York's a large place. We're focused on Daredevil.
Sure.
But
what's your big problem? Because that's not your big problem. I thought that was your big problem. With the finale.
Yeah, so the problem with the finale was they do blue ball the F out of us quite a lot.
Yep.
Like, a lot of people are wanting certain things, and one of those things was, like, Frank confronting those people. So we kind of get that. We get that in the apartment fight, and then we get it a little bit at the end. He has a speech with him or whatever. But other than that, like, to have a finale that's just, like, we're solving the Foggy thing, we're figuring out the Red Hook, Kingpin's going crazy, Punisher gets taken, blah, 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 and it all leads to Karen and Matt literally outside, and he's about to go in or whatever, and he's like, I need an army, and then the episode ends after that. It's like, okay, all right, That's probably one of my only main problems. Where it's like I like the cliffhangers. I like Red Hook being a thing, and the Kingpin taking over and threatening the council, and maybe even Punisher being taken, and like all these cliffhangers leading to episode 2. And I know that we got a big little fight scene in the apartment, but I felt like I needed one more thing where it's like we solve maybe the Foggy thing a little bit more, or take down part of Red Hook but not all of it with one more. Are we going and we save Frank, but then he still has the rest of Red Hook? So like I felt like there was like they were leading us to one more thing, and then they didn't give it to us. And like the second half of the finale was like, I love all these cliffhangers, but I am a little blue balled by the fact that Daredevil was like, literally, I'm about to go in, and he was like, I need an army, and then the army's like 5 old cops, and then the season ends. You know what I mean? Yeah.
A lot of people are complaining that the Defenders weren't in there.
Yeah, I expected somebody. You know, I know Spider-Man probably wasn't going to show up, but like, I was like, who's going to be?
Bishop is in New York. It's just like a lot of heroes in New York.
Yeah.
I would like to get into some cons.
Okay.
That I have, that I know you will not have or don't have.
Okay.
Even though I like the scene and I like the violence of him crushing his head, I was sad that they killed the police commissioner because I was really looking forward to the future of his relationship with BB.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in that because I thought that was a really interesting... Part of the reason why I gave episode 8 of Daredevil Born Again a 10 out of 10 was because I thought finally they were setting up so many strong things, which I knew weren't all going to be resolved. Mm-hmm. But I thought one of the strongest was BB creating a network within Fisk's intelligence. And I thought, oh my gosh, now the commissioner is working with Sheila. This is great. Like, now Sheila's going to be working with BB and this and that. And... no.
She turned
it's immediately
crazy.
Over. And the police commissioner, was one of my favorite new characters. So even though I do like the violence of the scene, and I do appreciate Disney going full, it's probably the most violent moment in any Daredevil episode ever. It's more violent than the car decapitation. It's more violent than a lot of stuff that the original show did. So I appreciate them going the extra mile. I was just disappointed with the character they chose to do that because I thought that we had an interesting storyline. Rather, now that moment in episode 8 just establishes BB and not the police commissioner working with her, I thought was an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed with that.
Maybe he's still alive.
Hilarious.
No, I like that scene too. No, that sucks. The fact that Sheila did that, I was like, frick you.
I know.
No way.
She's going to have a Nadim moment.
Yeah,
They're going to treat her like Nadim in season 2. She's going to die a hero's death or whatever after
Yeah.
doing bad stuff, for sure. This is a problem I have. I'm sure you don't have. I didn't like the fight in Matt's apartment with Punisher and Daredevil. It's really slow-mo. Almost every single shot in the fight is slow-mo. And even though it is really gory, and I think it's awesome about how gory it is, I did think it took away from the choreography because every single move, other than the opening where he throws the baton at the one guy, every single move is... oh,
I think every single move is a little bit of an exaggeration. They do it a little bit with Frank, for sure, but there's a lot of baton bullcrap that Daredevil is doing that is not slow-mo. I know he does slow-mo when he does like the side flip as he's getting shot at, but other than that...
I really did, and maybe I'm being an a-hole or whatever, I really did feel in that scene that I was watching a Zack Snyder film. Like, it was so much slow-mo. I did... Now, maybe it's not the whole scene, and maybe I'm overdoing it. I'm sorry if I am, but it was so much slow-mo where I enjoyed the scene when they first popped in. I was like, great, they're going to destroy the apartment. He's going to have to go back to Hell's Kitchen. This is great. I love this. I love Frank. I like that Frank got the haircut when he said, somebody called me. We know it's Karen. Like, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then the fight starts.
The banter was so... like, Frank...
Yep.
John is so good.
Yep, he's so good. And so I'm just like, oh, they've lost me here just because it was so much with the slow-mo. And then my final complaint, which is a complaint that you kind of have, but kind of not, is it's just not a complaint for me because I feel like they have been doing this all season, is I've kind of all season been like, okay, you're setting up stuff that's interesting, and then we're either ignoring it for 6 episodes or not doing anything for 5 episodes, or you resolve after 2 episodes and the resolution, i.e. Muse, is not satisfying to anybody. And I feel like that was the Punisher fanboy squad resolution. We find out that, by the way, a big character from the comics. But just kill him right now, no problem, whatever. But that he's the one that killed Hector is interesting, and then you blow him up immediately, right? Like, you don't really do anything with it. It's just kind of like, okay. And then I think that him calling them clowns at the end is interesting, but then they don't kill him, and then that gets to a question I have after this finale, which I have a couple. Why is Kingpin keeping all these people alive in cages?
Not sure.
That's especially when we see Andrew later on. Is his Andrew? What's the guy's name that Frank breaks his arm?
Oh yeah, snaps that thing.
Yeah, like, why are we keeping this very dangerous individual alive? This is going to end in disaster, as we see. So yeah, that was a question of mine. I hope that they give a good explanation, because they're literally killing people in the street and then putting beanies over their face and going
crazy
masked vigilante. So then these people are actual masked vigilantes. Why haven't you just killed them?
Yeah.
So I understand not killing Frank because they're fans of his, but everybody else.
Well, were the rest all vigilantes? I know swordsmen. Yeah, but I thought the rest were more like political.
I thought so too. Definitely, there are some suits in there, but there's also probably some masked vigilantes in there. Maybe Jessica Jones is in there. I don't know, but yeah. What are some of your big positives from the finale?
Yeah, so the apartment fight was obviously a big positive. Karen coming back was a big positive. I liked the dialogue. Frank and Matt have had 2 conversations this season, and they have both been bangers. I liked, obviously, the one in episode 4. And then this one was really good. Like, Frank's just banter with Matt, kind of making fun of him. Are you going to do it with your butt hanging out? And then, I'm not playing patty cake with these fanboys. Just so good. And then the little foreshadowing of Karen, then Karen coming back. I thought it was really cute that Matt was kind of jealous when he heard their heartbeats. And then I during my reaction, I had to what did he say? And she was like, "Oh, I'm sure it was just adrenaline." And then she was like, "Did you hear my heartbeat when I saw you?" And he was like, "I'm sure
adrenaline." Yeah, it was cute.
Writing was great, so cute. So I'm glad they're both back. And then obviously the Kingpin scene, insane.
Yeah.
And some of the positives are the cliffhangers. Like, they are setting up so much cool stuff. I just think there's too many, but some of them are positives. Like, it is really interesting. Like the Red Hook twist that it's a free port.
Like it.
And
I like that a lot.
The fact that Foggy was using that as a defense, and then that was going to expose them. And I'm glad they finally explained that, and we learned that because Karen and Matt worked together to figure it out. That's great. Good on y'all. So yeah, and then the Frank fight. I know he lost, but he did take out a lot of them before.
Yeah, I've seen some people say he was nerfed from. He's got a couple big fights that we've seen, especially in Punisher. Mm-hmm. That people are like, he takes on more guys than this and this and that. I don't care. These are armed police officers. He takes on 20 of them and kills 10 of them. I'm fine with this.
They got riot shields and all this bullcrap. Yeah,
I wasn't bothered by that the way that I saw some people on Twitter being bothered by that. I'm with you on almost everything that you just said. Obviously, you do know my opinion, where it's I thought the Karen stuff was great, and I love avocados at law and everything like that. It's just you know me. I'm just why couldn't this have just been the whole season? Because I like her a lot more than everybody else. So one of my highlights of the episode was Matt calling Heather Karen.
Dude, I lost it.
I loved that. But I have a question for you. Is that in character for Matt this season?
I think it's always in character for Matt.
Okay.
I don't think so. Especially after Heather's been a douchebag. Absolutely. Can we talk about how terrible Heather is?
Yep, she's becoming the worst and this and that. But he tells her he loves her. She's his whole life and this and that. And
you can easily tell someone you love them and live with them and still have a soft spot in your heart for Karen.
Absolutely.
That doesn't bother me at all. But that's another character that I really liked what they did, because I loved her for the first half of the season, and then they do a great job of slowly, when she's not. There was one thing she said before the Muse thing where she started to be a little annoying, where she's comparing Daredevil and Muse, and then she obviously does it where she's I saved myself, Daredevil's the same, and Matt's what the frick? And then to literally your boyfriend saves this guy's life, but then just says you have to trust me. This guy is insane. He is not safe. And then your immediate reaction is to go work for him. Crazy. I hope you die. Crazy little development there. She went from the best to the worst. Oh, it was so good. I hate her. Obnoxious little. She sucks.
I'm with you.
So I like that part of the finale too. When he asked her that, I was like, no, she's gonna freaking say yes. Crazy.
Very interesting. All right, that concludes our review of the finale episode. Obviously, we both have strong thoughts about Daredevil Born Again. Mm-hmm. Shall we do our reviews for the whole season right now? 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
9.5.
I'm at a 7 for the entire season.
Seems a little low.
Obviously, I know you think the world of this show, and I'm not. I'm going to try my hardest to be very nice to you and very respectful to you, because it's very important for me for this podcast. But I do want to start on kind of a harsh note just to break us in real quick. Muse is cooked. Done whatsoever. How do you feel about that? Because I know that when they killed him, you were like, if they never do anything again with him, I am going to be disappointed. I did want to ask you, now that the season's concluded, they don't bring him up ever again. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I have 3. So I could easily drop it to a 9. So most of this review is going to be based on just enjoyment, because there's always enjoyment based on versus objectively how well it was constructed.
Wicked is a lesser movie than Alien Romulus, but we both liked Wicked better.
Correct. So I'm gonna try and distinguish these two things when I'm talking about it. So enjoyment, it's a 9.5. I could easily bump it down to a 9 because of I have 3 bigger complaints with the season at large. So Muse is 1.
Absolutely.
And then the finale, blue balling the F out of us, is another one. Yeah. And then it is just somewhat disconjointed here and there. So those are my only 3 real negatives. So the Muse thing is annoying. I think he's great. I don't have a problem with him because he's not cool or interesting. The fact is, the problem is he is cool and interesting. We just don't get enough of him.
Yeah.
The one scene where he reveals his face and he's doing this and with the therapist and
a lot of fun.
The fight scene with him, and it's all great. It just ends too early. So that is one of my negatives. I don't like that. He is a good mid-season villain to kind of bridge the gap between Bullseye at the start and Bullseye at the end. I think they do a good job kind of bringing that around, and you need something in the middle. I think Muse is good for that, but he's too good for that. You know what I mean? That's annoying. It's one of my negatives for sure.
For sure. And then the other negatives are blue balling and then the disconjointedness. I did want to talk about this. We know for a fact there was a show at Marvel or test screenings, didn't like it or something, and they brought in the people that made Loki and Loki Season 2 and Moon Knight, and they made Episode 1, Episode 8, and Episode 9. I believe Episode 8 is clearly the best episode of the show. So I am pro that team who is now taking over for Season 2. I'm excited about that. What is a moment from Season 1 of Daredevil Born Again that stuck out to you the most of like, oh yeah, there are 2 different shows here? Because it is something that when I brought that up as a problem in the first 2 episodes after we went to the premiere, and you seemed a little bit defensive of that, but now you are bringing it up as a con. I do want to ask, what are
bringing
moments...
what up as a con?
You brought up that it is a little disjointed at parts. I know that you're not talking about the first 2 episodes because obviously you loved the first 2 episodes. So what I'm saying is subsequent. Now, what are events that happened in the show that made you go like, oh yeah, this is feeling a little disjointed? Because you did just bring it up as one of your 3 cons of the entire show.
Yeah, well, disjointed is different from it being a different show.
So you do disagree that it's a different show?
I think the way the showrunners described it was perfectly fair from the ones that I've heard of. I think it's a continuation. It's not a season 4.
Yeah.
It's connected, but it's slightly different. I think all that's fine.
Yeah.
The disconjointedness of it is like I mean, Karen disappears for a while. Bullseye disappears for a while, so you can kind of, and this isn't necessarily like a bad thing. It's just because Andor does this. You get 3 episodes and 3 episodes and 3 episodes and 3 episodes. Obviously, it's told way better, and you care about characters. But like, there are episodes where you don't get much of his mom, but she's still a great character. She's in the first few episodes, and then she's at the end. Whatever. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but Karen disappears for a while. She only comes in right at the end, and you can definitely make the argument that they kind of like stuck her in those 2 episodes. And the Muse thing is one, and the amount of cliffhangers at the end is another, where if season 1 and 2 are kind of put together, maybe you don't have that many problems. It's kind of like TASM 2. I love TASM 2, but I feel like if they had taken one thing out and kind of spread the story out a little bit more and made it a little more smooth between TASM 2 and TASM 3, it would have been perfect. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a terrible thing, but there are just like a few things where shows that I have watched before, like Andor, seem just smoother.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But what I'm asking is, when I watch episode 5 and then I watch episode 1, those to me are distinctly different TV shows that are cosplaying as one season of a television show.
Yeah, that makes zero sense in my mind.
Interesting. But you do understand the fact that they were made at 2 completely separate times with 2 completely different teams of people.
Yeah, I know. A lot
them.
of people will... what's the word? Pick up on things like that more than me.
Yeah.
I'm just watching it.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking.
Completely different shows cosplaying as the same is crazy, I think.
Well, I'm saying this as respectfully as possible. I don't want to upset you. But, like...
In my mind. I
understand, but like
people...
Like, his behavior in the scenes with Kamala Khan's dad are completely different behavior than the scenes with the post-overhaul team, and like you could tell in the writing, like the things where he's like, Miss Marvel, our very own superhero, and he's like, oh, I haven't heard of her, and whatever. Like, it's just Matt's attitude and the way he acts in that scene is different from the way he acts in post-overhaul scenes, in my opinion, strongly. And that is the opinion of a lot of people, which is a fair opinion because they were made by 2 different people. It is kind of the sequels thing where it's Last Jedi and Force Awakens were made by 2 different people, so, you know.
Yeah, I don't think he does anything so out of character that I see one episode and another episode, and I'm like, this is the same character.
It's not so out of the character. And again, episode 5 was my second favorite episode of the show. I loved episode 5. I didn't have a problem with it, but it is different. I'm not saying...
I mean, he's going to act differently than when he's talking to a bank teller than when he's talking to freaking Kingpin or Frank. Like, I don't... Yeah, I don't really...
Yeah, but why is he talking... All right, yeah, all right. No, we don't have to get into that. That's not that interesting of a point. I did recently reach out to people, part of the community. We're going to start with some Patreon answers for some of their thoughts on Daredevil Born Again. Some are going to be of the finale. Some are going to be of the final episode.
When we played Monopoly on the Patreon, we have an escape pod version of Monopoly.
Yep.
Someone commented on it recently, so it just popped up. But the caption I made was Monopoly, but make it sexy.
Yeah.
It's a good time. We are going to continue talking about Daredevil on the Patreon.
Yes.
We talk about it for quite a while.
Yes. The Patreon got all of the Daredevil content very early,
and part of the Friday episode.
And then
we also discussed some more Andor stuff.
Yes.
And talked about fictional characters, which kind of bender they would be.
Yes.
That all is all on the Patreon.
That's all on the Patreon. And that came out on Friday. So that's already available if you want to sign up for the Patreon. We do really, really appreciate it. And we love you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode.